Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Sab Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Radhe. Today is day 175 of the readings of the 252 Vaishnava disciples of Sri Gosaiji. We are beginning with Varta 158, which is the story of Vrindavan Das and Chabila Das from Agra. Jai Shri Radhe. Bhav Prakash. These are devotees of Tamasi disposition. In the eternal Leela, Vrindavan Das is Aradhika and Chabila Das is Prabodhika. They manifest from Sundari and are thus personifications of her divine loving sentiment. Part 1. Vrindavan Das and Chabila Das were very good friends. They were not initiated Vaishnavas, but attended daily satsangs at Sant Das's house. One day at the meeting, the subject matter was that one should not drink water touched by someone who had not been initiated with the Lord's name. Vrindavan Das and Chabila Das began to think, no Vaishnava will accept water touched by us, therefore we should approach Sri Gosaiji for such initiation, and then water touched by us will be acceptable. Vrindavan thought thus, but Chabila Das said, how can that be? I need to drink water and the journey to Gokul takes a whole day. How can we go without drinking water? Vrindavan Das replied, you go ahead and drink. I, on the other hand, will drink only water after I've been initiated with the Lord's name. The next morning, the two of them set out for Gokul. They reached there when all the day's services had been completed. Sri Gosaiji was seated in his betak. The two of them prostrated before him, and Sri Gosaiji said, O Vrindavan Das, did you get here? He replied, O Maharaj, we have just arrived this minute and come to have your sight. They then both supplicated, we have come to take shelter in you. Please accept us as your Lord's disciples by initiating us with the Lord's name. Sri Gosaiji said he would do this the next morning. Chabila Das piped up, O Maharaj, Vrindavan Das has not even drunk any water since we left. He said that he would not drink water until he had been initiated. His throat is dry. He is finding it hard to speak. I, on the other hand, have drunk water. Seeing his sincerity and longing, Sri Gosaiji called them to come forward, and he blessed them by initiating them with the Lord's name. He told his personal servant to bring them water to drink. He brought them prasadi water from Sri Namanit Priyaji, which was laced with rose water, and it was incomparably pleasant for them. They felt refreshed. They then drank some water from the Sri Yamanaji river, and thereafter felt fully satisfied. Sri Gosaiji then invited them to partake of Mahaprasad. Vrindavan Das said, O Maharaj, we are completely satisfied by drinking this water. When you have partaken of Mahaprasad, then we will also take a little. Sri Gosaiji then opened up his holy book and read of the pastimes of the Divine Lord. The two of them sat and listened and felt very contented. Sri Gosaiji then went to partake of his evening meal, and when he returned, the two of them partook of his prasadi leftovers. They were then shown to a place to sleep. When they arose in the morning, they went to see Sri Gosaiji. They requested him to grant them the Brahma Sambandh initiation. Sri Gosaiji told them to fast for 1 day first. The two of them piped up, as you wish, blessed Lord. However, we will lose 1 day in between, so please bless us by doing it today. Seeing their intense longing, Sri Gosaiji told them to go and have the holy sight of the Lord at the early morning service, Mangala, and then told them to come back there and sit down. He told his personal servant, when it is time for the holy sight of the dress and adornment of the Lord, please get them both bathed into the upper state of purity and let me know when they are ready. After the Mangala Arti, the early morning auspicious waving of lights ceremony, Sri Gosaiji began to dress and adorn Sri Namanit Priyaji. His personal attendant got the two of them ready and bathed, sitting them down in a state of purity. Then Sri Gosaiji blessed them both with the Brahma Sambandh initiation. After placing the lunch offerings, he came out of the inner temple. When enough time had elapsed, he accepted the offerings back as prasad and performed the Rajbhog Arti. When he had settled his lord down for his afternoon rest, he went and sat in the betak. Vrindavan Das and Chabila Das both made donations to Sri Gosaiji, who then went to partake of Mahaprasad. When he had finished, he gave the plate of prasadi leftovers to them both, and they also partook of Mahaprasad. They asked Sri Gosaiji what they would do next. He advised them to make Sri Thakurji's Seva. They requested him to present them with the Swarupa, whom they could serve, and Sri Gosaiji did just that. He also advised them to associate with the Vaishnava Rishikesh. See Varta 137. They told Sri Gosaiji, "Oh Maharaj, Rishikesh is our uncle." Sri Gosaiji remarked, "Oh, so you are of one family, that is good. Rishikesh will teach you all the ways of Seva." Vrindavan Das and Chabila Das took their leave of Sri Gosaiji and came to Agra. They told their uncle Rishikesh everything and requested him to teach them all the ways of Seva. Rishikesh did just that, and they began to serve very nicely. They would take turns in the service. One day Vrindavan Das would do the dressing and adorning, and the next day Chabila Das would do it. They did this alternation with the cooking as well. In this way, they very joyfully competed with each other in all aspects of the seva. In the afternoon, after the Rajbhog Aarti, they would feed Mahaprasad to the cows and the Vaishnavas. They were very respectful and loving to all Vaishnavas. After this, they themselves would partake of Mahaprasad, and then went to do some work to earn a living. They worked until the time for the afternoon Uttapan Seva, and then go home. They would then again bathe and complete the seva up till the Lord took rest for the night, and then they went to satsangs and listened to divine discourse. They loved listening to the stories of the Lord's pastimes. They would cry and experience horripilation as they listened. They would then go home and continue to ponder on the subject matter. In this way, both of them developed great love for the Lord. There are many other stories about Vrindavan Das that are not mentioned here. Sometime later, Sri Gosaiji went to Agra and stayed with Rupa Chandananda. All the Vaishnavas there told him, "Oh Maharaj, your two disciples, Vrindavan Das and Chabila Das, are very clever in all aspects of Sri Thakurji's seva. They also have great faith in and love for the Lord's stories." Sri Gosaiji was very pleased to hear this, and he was always pleased with the two of them. Bhav Prakash. The lesson from this story is that Vaishnavas should support each other and never sway away from seva. Within the service of the Lord, every day should be considered an opportunity to make innovative preparations and adornments for the Lord beloveds with ever new enthusiasm. Thus concludes Varta 158, the story of Vrindavan Das and Chabila Das from Agra, who were the recipients of Sri Gosaiji's great grace and accomplished Vaishnavas. There is no end to their tale. Vrindavan Das, Chabila Das ki jai ho, and Varta now 159. The story of a Brahmin couple from Gujarat. The wife looked for money underneath a tree. Bhav Prakash. These two are devotees of Sattvic disposition. In the eternal Leela, their names are Kalasika, and who's the wife, and Karnika, the husband. They manifest from Sundari and are thus personifications of her divine loving sentiment. They were both born into Brahmin families in Gujarat. They got married. Both of their sets of parents died when they were about 25 to 30 years of age. They thought to themselves, "Let's go to Varanasi for the holy site of Lord Shiva." They left Gujarat to undertake this journey. It took them quite some days to reach Varanasi. At the time of their arrival, Sri Gosaiji was residing in Varanasi. He was seated in front of the Vishveshwara temple, having a debate with the impersonalists there. The couple caught sight of him and saw that he was a most divine personality. They were filled with a desire to become his disciples. Sri Gosaiji rendered the impersonalists speechless and then went to Seth Purushottam Das's home. The couple accompanied him there. The husband supplicated, "O Maharaj, please accept us as your disciples. We wish to take refuge in you alone." Sri Gosaiji laughed and said, "O Brahmins, you came here with the intent of having the holy site of Lord Shiva. Why have you not yet been to see him?" The husband replied, "O Maharaj, after seeing you, whom other would we then want to see? Please, therefore, do take us as your disciples." Realizing their keen desire, Sri Gosaiji initiated them with the Lord's name. The next day he granted them the Brahma Sambandh initiation. The couple then inquired, "O Maharaj, where does our duty now lie?" Sri Gosaiji instructed, "Whilst knowing the greatness of the Lord, you should lovingly serve the divine beloved." They then supplicated, "O Maharaj, please teach us the meanings and modes of seva." Sri Gosaiji taught them his father's Seva Phalam treatise, the rewards of Seva, and explained to them the true form of Seva. They then implored him to grant them a Swarupa of the Lord for them to serve, and he presented them with a Swarupa of child Krishna, instructing them to serve him very simply and lovingly, whilst giving up material ambition, since they were not rich people. The couple welcomed the Lord's Swarupa, took leave of Sri Gosaiji, and returned home to Gujarat. We'll take rest from the reading today at this juncture, and tomorrow we will continue with Varta 159. Aaj ke Anand ki jai ho. Shri Vallabhadish, Shri Gosaiji ki jai ho. Shri Giriraj Dharana ki jai ho. Shri Govardhana ji ki jai ho. Sab Vaishnavan ko sadar sadenya saprem Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe.